Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Porter, you're recognized.
Mr. Westerman, would you please tell me what the substantive objections are to bringing my bill forward for markup? I yield to you.
Well, I appreciate you yielding, but we're debating the Grand Ronde Reservation Act Amendment of 2023, and like I would extend to any member, I will try to work with you to get bills that we can get on the UC calendar or bills that we can mark up. We work closely with Mr. Grijalva, and today is no exception where we've got three minority bills on the calendar to be marked up.
So I'm going to take that as a no. You can't provide to me or won't provide to me today the substantive objections to my one-word bill. I think the Colorado River Basin is important to people throughout the West, and I think it's particularly important to Native Americans and people who have long been good stewards of water. This data helps them understand what the river basin has to offer, what the likely demands are to be on it, what the likely supplies are to be. We are seeing more weather variability in the West with both droughts but also atmospheric streams, and then it makes this kind of data all the more important. The Bureau of Reclamation's Basin Study Program is scheduled to issue a report in 2026, a report that our local water districts are counting on and that they will use and can rely on to help make sure that their decisions about water are grounded in science. It helps insulate them from litigation and from liability by helping them make research-driven decisions that reflect data across states and across the basin. This isn't a program that we can delegate to the state or local level. It is a program that needs to be done at the federal level, and it is a program that has worked extremely well since its inception in 2009. The program will expire on September 30th, and this committee's decision not to put the bill up for markup despite the Democratic majority's prioritization of the bill, it simply is hard to understand, especially since you're not giving me the courtesy of any substantive explanation why this bill could not come forward for a markup. And I am disappointed that this is the way it is going to have to go, and this is the way that I'm going to have to approach my committee work going forward. It's just really heartbreaking that you don't want to fight for people in the West to have water, and that you don't want to fight for local water districts to be able to have research and science-based data. And I am disappointed that we find ourselves in this situation, and to not be given a single bit of substantive explanation is, I think, disrespectful to the participation of the members of this committee on both sides of the aisle, and more importantly, really disrespectful to the people of this country who need to understand and who deserve to understand. If there's a problem with this bill, if there's an objection, if there's something wrong, if there's a concern, then let's talk about it. Let's have that debate. But I have not heard it. I did not hear it in the legislative hearing that we had on this bill. I didn't hear it from when I've spoken to you, to your staff, to others, and I'm not hearing it here today. I still am waiting for a commitment that this bill can be brought forward and marked up. And, frankly, I respect that you're saying, I hear you're saying you're willing to work with me, but that is what you have been saying for months. And when I hear that members don't want to give Porter a win, it is very difficult to feel that that is not an attack on personality. That is not people taking this out on my character, and it's at the expense of Californians, of Coloradans, of Arizonans, of New Mexicans, of all of the basin states, and those people are Democrats and Republicans and independents, and what they want is to have water, and what they deserve is to have the best possible programs that the federal government can deliver for them. So I continue to not understand and have not heard any substantive objection to why the amendment, why my bill cannot be brought forward, except that that I am the proponent of the bill. And I don't find that acceptable, and I don't think the American people would find that acceptable. I would not vote against a Republican bill simply because of its proponent. I would always look at the substance of the bill. And so with that, I yield back, and really disappointed to find ourselves in this situation.
Gentlelady yields back, and Ms. Porter, I appreciate your you're fighting for the issues that you think are important, but you also must realize that unanimous consent means exactly that there's unanimous consent. Members don't have to give me a reason why they would object to a bill that could be on the unanimous consent calendar, just like you have the opportunity to object to the bills that are on the calendar today. That's something every member has that privilege for. And to do a unanimous consent calendar, we work among staff, try to reach out to all the offices. Republicans reach out to Republican members, Democrats reach out to Democrat members, and if Ranking Member Grijalva and I have an agreement that there is unanimous consent that we can pass these bills, then we put them on the calendar. But just like today, we had an agreement, and you have the privilege to not consent to that agreement, and therefore we're going through the regular order process. So again, can't fault you for your desire to advocate on behalf of your constituents and policies that are important to you. But one thing the chairman of the committee can't control is how members will react to any bill that's put on the dais.
Westerman, may I give a 5-minute, just a 5-second response? Really quickly.
I'll yield.
With all due respect, I am sitting here telling everyone what my objection is to proceeding with UC. I haven't heard that in response, so I don't think that it's a parallel situation.
And your bill's not on the calendar today for people to raise an objection to a unanimous consent that was not granted in the first place. And I support HR 1722, but I believe, was there further, anybody else wish to